Part 26. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 252. Len Ning frowned. Gangzi is dead, we have to avenge him. Miss, please do it. Fen Wen stood up, bowed to Len Ning and clasped his fists to plead. A complex look flashed across Len Ning's face, and Len Ning's expression became less indifferent. Right now, your mental strength has been exhausted and you cannot maintain your best fighting condition. It's just shooting. Our team has no problem, Fen Wen said immediately. Len Ning frowned again. Miss Sun Chi wanted to plead for Fen Wen, but as soon as he opened his mouth, he was stopped by Len Ning's look. Avoiding Len Ning's eyes, Sun Chi did not dare to look at Len Ning again. Fen Wen glanced at Sun Chi, and now he felt a lot better about him. Performing the mission, Len Ning said solemnly, glancing at Fen Wen, who maintained his bowing posture. Then he stopped looking at the two of them and walked towards everyone in the Manman team. Seeing Len Ning leave, Fen Wen felt a little cold. The lady refuses to change the order, how should he explain it to his subordinates? Sun Chi sighed. Actually, the lady is doing it for your own good. Then she said, one of your people has already died, so we can't let anything happen again. Those people on the bus are the key to saving this power plant. Even if we die, they can't. Fen Wen was stunned. Raised a wry smile. How could he not know the meaning of this? But if a gun fires here, the consequences will be disastrous. Even if we can get rid of the zombies inside, all the nearby zombies will gather here. We have to stay here for at least one night so that you can have a chance to take revenge. Fen Wen's eyes suddenly became clear. Thank you, then he said sincerely to Sun Chi. This Sun Chi, hey, he misjudged him. You're welcome, Sun Chi nodded to Fen Wen and left. The lady asked to use thermal weapons. This is indeed the best way to deal with those second-level zombies, but the subsequent hidden dangers will also be very great. From now on until the next day when the receptionist comes, I'm afraid this place won't be deserted. S-level mission, this mission far exceeds S-level. Len Ning returned to the Manman team and began to explain the situation to everyone. When she proposed that she go to the power plant to investigate the situation and lure out the zombies, everyone objected and even offered to go with her. I'll go with you, Zhou Tao was the first to say. I'll go too, Yuan Xing was not far behind. The Manman team is a whole, how can I be missing? Zheng Peng followed. And me, Li Qiang also said. A touch of emotion flashed in Len Ning's eyes. The example of Fen Wen and his team is in front of us. I don't want you to take risks, Len Ning said solemnly. I will go in alone and have greater mobility. I can evacuate immediately if something goes wrong. If you follow me, you might do something bad. Everyone's expressions were complicated. They knew that Len Ning's words did not undermine their intentions. Half of them were because they really had this consideration, and the other half was also for their safety. Stop being so depressed. If you don't want to encounter this kind of situation again next time, hurry up and give me the third level, Len Ning said in a louder tone. A few of them actually need to train in a harsh environment, so that they can break through the second level restrictions as soon as possible and become third level superpowers. Unfortunately, the environment in the power plant is too dangerous, and its risk factor has far exceeded what they can bear. Although it might be easier for them to break through in such a bad situation, she didn't dare to take such a risk. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 253. Looking back at herself, what she just lacked was such an opportunity. If she can seize this opportunity, maybe she can break through the third level bottleneck and go directly to the fourth level. Thinking of this, Len Ning felt a little excited. Yes, Zhou Tao shouted angrily. Everyone was stunned. Unexpectedly, the first person to respond this time was Zhou Tao. Yes, the rest of the Manman team followed suit. Len Ning glanced at Zhou Tao, raised the corners of his lips slightly, and gave him an appreciative look. This kid has finally made some progress. At this time, the truck started to move, and two people from Feng Wen's side had already left with the workers in the truck. The people who stayed began to gather towards Len Ning. Wait until everyone gathers. Len Ning waved his hand, and a large number of guns and ammunition suddenly appeared on the ground, and even several boxes of grenades. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw these things, even the members of Manman team were no exception. Boss, where did you get these good things? Didn't the military department only allocate each of them a rifle, a pistol, and a total of 50 bullets? The weight of these boss items is dozens of times that of theirs. The Wolf Fang mercenary team was also shocked. Miss, these weapons are not simple. They only saw several kinds of guns in them yesterday, and they didn't even get a chance to touch them. What the instructor told them at that time was that because the number was too rare, they could only watch it and there were no extra bullets for them to practice. But the lady actually took out dozens of them at once. Feng Wen and his people were also shocked. They themselves serve in the military, and they know that the supply of guns has always been tight. Weapons and ammunition like missiles, according to their current configuration standards, are enough to equip hundreds of people. As expected of a young lady, you are so heroic. At this moment, everyone finally understood. It's strange that Len Ning, as the apple of Master Lei's eye and the Princess of Thunder Base, was allowed to participate in such a dangerous mission. Lei Xiao had already arranged everything early in the relationship. Yes, except for Mr. Lei, no one else has the financial resources to produce so much ordnance. Even if there were, it would not be so generous. There are many equipments in the power plant, so we can't fight with zombies inside. Len Ning looked at the crowd and said, so I plan to lure all the zombies out. I will sneak in personally later, clean up the zombies, and inquire about the situation at the same time. She can control Xiaoman accurately to ensure that the internal equipment of the power plant is not damaged. As for others, if one does not control it well, it is easy to damage the machinery inside. This was another reason why she didn't want anyone to follow her in. Feng Wen and Sun Qi subconsciously wanted to object, but before they could speak, Len Ning stopped them with a gesture. If you're lucky, I might be able to end the battle alone, Len Ning said solemnly. If you're not lucky, I won't hold on. Within 2 hours, if the battle cannot be ended, I will lure the zombies out. Then I will leave it to you. Everyone's expressions were complicated. They followed the young lady on a mission, but in the end, it seemed that the young lady was protecting them. Did you hear that clearly? Len Ning suddenly raised his voice twice. Yes, everyone said quickly. Len Ning nodded. Feng Wen then shouted. Yes, Feng Wen immediately stepped forward. You formulate the peripheral combat plan and distribute these ammunition and weapons. Len Ning looked at Feng Wen and said. Among them, Feng Wen had stayed in the military for the longest time and had a relatively comprehensive training experience in relevant knowledge. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 254. Feng Wen was stunned. Yes, then he said with joy on his face. Len Ning took one last look at everyone and left. The Manman team watched Len Ning leave with some reluctance, but no one dared to stop him. Okay. Don't be so frustrated. Don't you have confidence in the boss's strength yet? Zhou Tao interrupted the sad look on everyone's faces. Everyone immediately became determined. If we want to fight with the boss, we must strengthen our strength. After today, we can no longer be idle, Zhou Tao continued. Yeah, everyone agreed. On the other side, Len Ning has entered the first workshop of the power plant. Because it's so close to the outside, there are no zombies here. There are a lot of mechanical equipment in the workshop, and the light is a bit dim, giving people a strong sense of oppression. Len Ning took out Xiaoman, hunched over, and carefully sneaked towards the second workshop. As soon as he entered the second workshop, Len Ning saw a zombie wearing a steel helmet. The zombie was actually carrying a shovel in his hand, swinging clumsily in the aisle. Len Ning raised the corner of his mouth, stepped forward, and directed Xiaoman to penetrate the vines into his forehead. Looking at the second-order red crystal core retrieved by the vines, Len Ning was a little surprised. When I saw that the sleeves on the zombie's arms were gone, I roughly guessed the whole story. This zombie was probably a boiler burner before, and he often used the power of fire to improve his abilities. Putting away the crystal core, Len Ning continued to move forward. Soon, she discovered the second and third zombies. Likewise, without much effort, she succeeded in the sneak attack and obtained 2 more crystal cores. When she entered the third section of the workshop, there were even more zombies, 12 in total. Since there was not much space, Len Ning could only choose to fight quickly. But as soon as he got rid of the 3 zombies at the door, Len Ning was discovered by the other zombies. Seeing Len Ning, the zombies immediately rushed towards her excitedly. Unfortunately, with Xiaoman here, they are destined to be just paper tigers. Soon, Len Ning ended the battle again. Because there was some movement, a zombie came over from the fourth workshop. Len Ning hid by the door, and as soon as the zombie showed up, he inserted the dagger into its head. Len Ning was a little unhappy as he squatted down to take out the crystal core. It was easier to use Xiaoman, because the dagger was too slow to dig out crystal cores, and her hands might come into contact with the smelly flesh of zombies accidentally. Stepping over the zombie corpse, Len Ning continued walking inside. After that, we continued to clean up the major workshop silently. Finally, Len Ning successfully arrived at the 7th workshop. Looking at the time, Len Ning found that 40 minutes had passed. Taking a deep breath, Len Ning knew that the most dangerous place in the entire power plant was right in front. According to the homework she did last night, this power plant consists of 10 workshops. The first 3 are some basic equipment, and the middle is a small amount of equipment and raw material rooms, as well as office areas. The last 3 workshops are the real power generation workshops and are also the 3 largest workshops in the power plant. Randomly wiping the sweat on his forehead with his sleeves, Len Ning mustered up his courage and finally opened the ajar door from Workshop 6 to Workshop 7. Although the force was controlled, the door still made a squeaking sound due to lack of engine oil lubrication. The zombies were extremely sensitive to sounds and immediately discovered Len Ning. First, a dozen zombies came toward Len Ning, and then the rest of the zombies also discovered the situation and swarmed over. Len Ning tried to force himself to calm down and waved Xiaoman to start the head harvesting mode. Finally done. Phew. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 255. Unfortunately, there are many zombies with superpowers among these zombies, and their superpowers have reached the 2nd level. Facing these powerful zombies, Xiaoman's attack efficiency is no longer so efficient. Even the flying vines will be attacked and destroyed by zombies. Similarly, Len Ning will also be attacked by zombies. Fortunately, her arms were strong and it was difficult for the zombies to hurt her. But it is said that 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. Facing the swarming zombies, Len Ning soon began to feel tired. Seeing the zombies in the 8th workshop also flocking to the 7th workshop, Len Ning did not dare to delay any longer, released more mental power, and continued to strangle the zombies crazily. Finally, 10 minutes later, the 7th workshop was littered with corpses. The pressure suddenly decreased, Len Ning felt relieved and prepared to end the battle quickly. Suddenly, there was a loud bang, and the door from Workshop 8 to Workshop 7 was broken open. Yes, it was broken open by force. It was a giant power zombie with a height of over 2.5 meters. Its body was as muscular as a hill. He was holding a heavy axe in his hand. This was the tool I used to break the door just now. Power zombies are somewhat different from other zombies with special abilities. Due to the awakening of power, some zombies' muscles will expand and grow, their height will increase, and their body size will increase. Zombies that have undergone such changes will be more destructive and lethal. After breaking through the door, the power zombie immediately saw Len-Ning. A bloodthirsty ferocity burst out from the scarlet eyes. The power zombie swung the giant axe in his hand and instantly chopped off the heads of several zombies around him. But these heads were still moving after they fell to the ground, their eyes looking in the direction of Len-Ning, wanting to fly up and pounce on Len-Ning to eat her flesh. Len-Ning narrowed his eyes, a tough battle was coming. Then Len-Ning rushed forward without waiting for the power-type zombies to approach. Xiaoman quickly spawned a large number of vines, attacking the zombies faster and harder. After getting rid of more than a dozen zombies blocking the road, Xiaoman's vines flew towards the power zombies. Unfortunately, before the vines could reach the power zombies, they grabbed the bodies of ordinary zombies and blocked them. The vines pulled out from the body of the ordinary zombie and continued to attack. But he was chopped down by a power zombie with an axe. Two main vines were chopped off at once. Len-Ning only felt the Xiaoman trunk in his hand tremble twice. It was obvious that Xiaoman was in pain. Feeling distressed in his heart, Len-Ning began to allow Xiaoman to swallow the crystal core by himself. Her little man has a very strong self-healing system and can recover in a short time. But just like the superpowers, Xiaoman also needs crystal cores to maintain battery life. It's just that it's more powerful than a superpower, and it won't run out of mental energy. As long as it has enough crystal cores, it can keep fighting. Moreover, the violent combat system core will make it more violent and aggressive. Seeing Xiaoman growing vines again, and the stems were stronger and stronger than before, the power zombie became angry. The giant axe in his hand chopped down Xiaoman's vines several times. After failing, he suddenly shouted angrily and threw the giant axe directly towards Len-Ning. Len-Ning's expression changed, and he even felt the wind coming from the giant axe. Then his body tilted and he turned to avoid it. At this time, the giant axe hit the huge mechanical equipment behind Len-Ning, making a huge noise. Damn it, if this axe goes down, the equipment will probably be destroyed by it. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 256. The battle must be ended as soon as possible, otherwise even if all the zombies here are killed, these important equipment will not be usable. Thinking of this, Len-Ning launched another fierce attack on the power zombies. The power zombie was also very angry with Len-Ning. He grabbed a zombie next to him, used it as a weapon, and started smashing it crazily, shouting and heading towards Len-Ning. Len-Ning dodged the zombies' attacks while looking for an opportunity to kill the power zombies with one blow. It's a pity that the big guy looks bulky, but his brain is very smart, so he is really difficult to deal with. 5 minutes later, Len-Ning was close to exhaustion. She knew she couldn't delay any longer, either she had to get rid of this power zombie within 5 minutes, or she had to withdraw. Thinking of this, Len-Ning gathered strength again and prepared to make the final attempt. Unfortunately, she is now mentally weak and unable to win. After another failure, Len-Ning decisively chose to evacuate. Seeing Len-Ning trying to escape, the power zombies immediately started chasing Len-Ning. At the same time, it also called on a large number of zombies to follow it. What a cunning thing, Len-Ning said angrily. Finally, he stopped thinking about killing power-type zombies on the road and started to lure the zombies outside. At this moment, the Manman team, the Lanja mercenary team and the military team were already waiting outside and were extremely anxious. It's almost time, why hasn't the boss/young lady come out yet? Did something happen to the boss? Zhou Tao frowned and asked everyone in the Manman team. Should we? Zhang Peng also looked at Yuan Xing anxiously. Yuan Xing and Zhou Tao are the vice captains of their Manman team. Now that the boss is away, the Manman team will listen to them. Compared to Zhou Tao, Zhang Peng and Li Qiang naturally believe in Yuan Xing more. There is no other reason. Yuan Xing has a calmer personality, is calmer in situations, and has stronger judgment. Yuan Xing looked at Zhang Peng. Zhang Peng immediately shut up. Li Qiang also held back what he was about to say. The time has not come yet, we have to trust the boss, Yuan Xing said solemnly. But looking at the entrance of the power plant, he himself felt uneasy and worried. Although the time is not up, there are only about 10 minutes left. If the boss really doesn't come out on time, what should they do? Zhou Tao's face was impetuous, and he warned himself several times about the advice Len Ning had given him before, and then he refrained from arguing with Yuan Xing. Then, another 5 minutes passed. We can't wait like this anymore. Zhou Tao finally couldn't help it anymore. Yuan Xing's face darkened. What do you want to do? You go to Feng Wen and Sun Qi to discuss what we should do if the boss can't come out on time. Zhou Tao looked at Yuan Xing and said. Yuan Xing was stunned. It was a bit surprising that Zhou Tao was so calm this time. If the boss doesn't come out on time, we have to go in to pick her up. Zhou Tao continued, if they don't want to go with us, let them wait outside. Yuan Xing was startled. Looking at everyone in the Manman team looking at him, he finally nodded. They are the boss's subordinates. If the boss is really in danger, they have to come in unconditionally. If they go in a minute earlier, the boss has a greater chance of escaping. Okay, I'll go. After saying that, Yuan Xing started to move immediately. At the same time, Len Ning had led the zombies all the way to the fourth workshop. Along the way, due to the super destructive power of the power-type zombie, the equipment in the 567th workshop had been almost destroyed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Ki Now. Chapter 257. Considering that the fourth workshop also has a door leading to the open space outside, Len Ning decided to get out from here. After absorbing a handful of transparent crystal nuclei, Len Ning waved Xiaoman and directly forcibly destroyed the door of the fourth workshop. I saw Xiaoman's vines sprouting sharp and blunt thorns, piercing hard towards the iron door. The door immediately made a dull and loud noise, but it could not be broken through. At the same time, everyone outside who was anxiously waiting for Len Ning immediately heard the news. Yuan Xing, who originally looked worried, suddenly felt joy in his eyes. Where's the boss? Yuan Xing pointed excitedly to the location of the fourth workshop where Len Ning was. At the same time, the door received a second heavy knock. Yuan Xing's eyes changed, and without waiting for Sun Qi and Feng Wen's reaction, he quickly ran towards the gate of the fourth workshop. The door was locked from the outside, and the two loud noises just now must have been caused by the boss using Xiaoman to break in. He had to help. Sun Qi and Feng Wen looked at each other and immediately signaled the team members to prepare with all their strength. Immediately, the two of them also chased Yuan Xing. Before Yuan Xing arrived, he heard the third and fourth blows. At this time, a bulge appeared on the iron door that was caused by the forceful impact of a hard object. In the fourth workshop, power zombies have also arrived, and they are leading a large number of super zombies to start a fierce fight with Len Ning. Len Ning not only had to face a large number of zombie attacks, but also had to prevent sneak attacks by power-type zombies. At the same time, he also had to find a way to command Xiaoman to score goals, and he soon became exhausted. Without warning, a zombie's sharp nails scratched Len Ning's arm. Then came Len Ning's other arm. The pain made Len Ning sober up. After getting rid of the 3 zombies closest to him, Len Ning prepared to make one last attempt. If that didn't work, she wouldn't care about the power plant anymore, so she could only go back the way she came and escape through the gate of the first workshop. Suddenly, there was a come on, and Len Ning heard something moving outside. "Boss, are you in there?" It was Yuan Xing's voice. Len Ning was happy. "It's me." "Open the door," then he shouted outside. "Yes," Yuan Xing was overjoyed and immediately forced the lock. With his powerful strength ability, Yuan Xing successfully pried the lock open in just 2 attempts. Then quickly opened the door. As soon as the iron door opened, the sunlight suddenly shone on Len Ning's face and body. After fighting in a dark environment for 2 consecutive hours, Len Ning felt that the sunlight was a bit dazzling. "But I also love this light very much." After avoiding the attack of 2 super zombies, he quickly escaped from the 4th workshop. The zombies followed and swarmed in. Yuan Xing pulled out his weapon, killed the zombies, and assisted Len Ning in avoiding the zombie attacks and retreating. The 2 of them had walked less than 5 meters when Feng Wen and Sun Qi also arrived and immediately joined the team that killed the zombies. Seeing the 2 of them, Len Ning's tense heart instantly relaxed, and finally he felt a sense of happiness about surviving the disaster. "Miss, are you okay?" Sun Qi rushed to Len Ning's side and asked Len Ning with a smile. "Ever since we met, I have always seen her confident and high-spirited." This was the first time that he saw her in such a mess. Len Ning curled her lips and said, "It's okay." Because of his weakness, for the first time, his pretty face showed a frailty that befitted his age. Sun Qi's heart moved. "Take your eldest son to go first, Captain Feng, and I will take the rear," he then said. Feng Wen looked at Sun Qi and gave him an appreciative smile. He was also prepared to say this. There are still 5 chapters left, which will be released later. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 258. Okay. Thank you both. Yuan Xing was not polite, picked up the weak Len Ning, and moved outside. Len Ning's mental strength was exhausted. If he didn't rely on one breath to hold on, it would have been difficult to kill the zombies. Now that her own people have arrived, she no longer pretends to be strong, and rest assured that she can hand over her body weight to Yuan Xing's hands. Yuan Xing helped Len Ning walk out. After walking more than 10 meters, the Manman team also arrived. "Boss, are you okay?" Zhou Tao was the first to come up. "Boss. Boss." Zheng Peng and Li Qiang also looked worried. "I'm fine, it's just that my mental energy is consumed too much." "Yuan Xing, please help me go there to rest for a while, and you can go help," Len Ning said in a deep voice. She had already faintly felt that her 3rd-level bottleneck was loosened, and she had collected many transparent crystal nuclei in the power plant. She needed to advance to the next level immediately. "Yes," everyone said immediately. Then they rushed forward with weapons in hand. At this time, people from the Wolf Fang mercenary team and the military team also arrived. After someone fired a shot, everyone started using thermal weapons to deal with the zombies. Sun Qi and Feng Wen seized the opportunity and got rid of the zombies under the cover of firepower from the team members. When the 2 returned to the team, everyone completely let go and concentrated their firepower to greet the zombies. Although most of these zombies are zombies with supernatural powers, many of them have supernatural powers that exceed the 2nd level. But facing bullets, they are no match at all. When Sun Qi saw Li Qiang holding a gun and shooting his head with a gun, there was a burst of appreciation on his face. "Qiangzi, your marksmanship is pretty good," it was actually better than him. In the military training room before, he saw him achieve 5-10 ring results. At that time, he didn't feel much. After all, the target was dead, but the zombies were alive. But now it seems that Li Qiang's marksmanship is even better than his own. Brother Sun's marksmanship is also good, Li Qiang returned Sun Qi's praise. Ahem, I just practiced a few times in the army before, Sun Qi said modestly. Me too, Li Qiang replied. Sun Qi. With thermal weapons joining the battle, most of the zombies were quickly killed or injured. The power zombie quickly realized something was wrong and began to escape. Brothers, hurry up and don't let that stupid thing get away, Sun Qi saw the situation and shouted to the crowd. Can't escape, everyone in the Lanja mercenary team replied with a smile. Immediately afterwards, everyone raised their guns and aimed at the power zombie. Unfortunately, even after firing several shots, he failed to penetrate the head of the strength zombie. Seeing that the power zombie was about to enter the workshop, Li Qiang raised his gun. After taking aim, he was about to shoot when there was a bang, but he saw that a bullet had been shot into the head of the power zombie. The bullet ruptured after entering the zombie's head, causing an explosion that caused the brains of the power-type zombie to fly all over the ground, which looked particularly disgusting. Everyone turned around. What he saw was Len Ning. She had already stood up, leaning on a sniper rifle, standing in the wind. She looked so weak, as if the wind could blow her away. But her face was so strong, like a strong pine rooted in the rock. Ahem, Len Ning coughed twice because of physical discomfort. Yuan Xing immediately stepped forward to help Len Ning. But Len Ning waved his hand to stop him. Go and clean up the battlefield, I can do it. These zombie crystal nuclei are good things, the more you can get, the better. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Qi Now. Chapter 259. A complex look flashed across Yuan Xing's face. The boss had already sat down just now, but he still didn't let go of what he was doing. Seeing that the power zombie was about to escape, he took out the sniper rifle from the space ring without saying a word. This is the first time he has seen someone with such good marksmanship. He really can defeat the opponent with 100 steps. This is also the first time I have seen a woman who is so strong and holds a grudge to this extent. Now that she has personally dealt with the zombies chasing her, she should be able to calm down. Yes, Yuan Xing said loudly. The boss is so powerful, how could he, as the boss's subordinate, embarrass her? After Yuan Xing left, Len Ning sat weakly on the ground. A small green vine wrapped around Len Ning's arm, trying pitifully to move closer to Len Ning's arms. Raising a smile, Len Ning touched Xiaoman's little green leaves. Then he started to close his eyes and hit the third-level bottleneck with all his strength. Xiaoman also stopped moving and followed Len Ning into a meditative state. In the space of sea of consciousness, Len Ning absorbed a lot of crystal cores and climbed a cliff with all his strength. The cliff is very steep, and the place where you can put your hands and feet is pitifully narrow. The strong wind on the edge of the mountain cliff cut the clothes on Len Ning's back. Next, it's the skin. Then came flesh and blood. The little man on her arm wasn't much better either. The vines that grew out were constantly being cut off, and then were cut off again. However, if it does not grow, the strong wind will come over in the next second, and its more important parts will be injured. Here, it cannot grow into vines with offensive power, or even branches that can help Len Ning borrow strength. Seeing the cold sweat on Len Ning's forehead, Xiaoman ignored the pain and suddenly sprouted vines quickly, which suddenly ran up Len Ning's back. Then he quickly formed a net, trying to protect Len Ning's bloody back. But immediately, a strong wind blew, and the vines were cut off one by one. Xiaoman's trunk trembled for a while and spawned vines again, trying to help Len Ning withstand the biting wind. Xiaoman, take care of yourself, Len Ning gritted his teeth and said in a deep voice. This is promotion. Every upgrade after a superpower reaches the third level is a climb of the soul. Only by reaching the peak after the floating clouds in the sea of consciousness have cleared away can she reach the fourth level and become a fourth level superpower. The cliff is a test, and so is the strong wind. If you want to become a strong person, you must endure the pain of Ling Qi. Not only is she like this, but so is her spiritual pet. What Xiaoman has endured will not be less than what she has endured. Be obedient. Seeing Xiaoman still growing vines on his back, Len Ning said in a deep voice. When the strong wind blew, the vines were cut apart again. Xiaoman shivered even more violently. Len Ning felt a flash of distress in his heart. Carry it over and give you the crystal core to eat. Len Ning relaxed his tone. This time Xiaoman finally obeyed and stopped spawning vines to protect Len Ning. Len Ning felt relieved, concentrated his energy, and began to climb up. It hurts, it hurts. Tired, she is also very tired. She even began to have visions of her elder brother in her mind. The eldest brother persuaded her to give up, saying that he would protect her and let her live in peace for the rest of her life and be a happy little princess in the Thunder Base. He said he liked her and asked her to be his bride. He also said that they will have children in the future, and the children will be as cute as Xiaobao. Len Ning almost gave up. But the flash of resentment in her mind made her wake up. She should no longer be as cowardly as in her previous life. She should fight for her brother's love by herself, and protect her family by herself. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 260. And Han Yu, she hasn't found her yet, that woman, she can't let her continue to live peacefully in this world. Thinking of this, Len Ning's eyes suddenly became clear. After roaring, Len Ning finally climbed up the last section of the cliff despite the bone-cutting pain of the strong wind. Then, all the pain disappeared instantly. Her ears heard the sounds of the real world again, and she heard the team members playing around her. There were also Sun Qi and Feng Wen, who were walking towards her talking and laughing. Feeling that the mental power in the sea of consciousness was rapidly rising at a surging speed, Len Ning began to feel comfortable all over, and the fatigue in his body was quickly disappearing. When he opened his eyes, Sun Qi and Feng Wen were already in front of him. Miss Sun Qi and Feng Wen were both stunned when they saw Len Ning wake up. The young lady has been sleeping here for more than 3 hours. This is the third time they have come here. The Manman team told them not to disturb the lady, they only left the first 2 times. But it was already 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and except for the members of their Manman team, everyone else was still hungry. In addition, killing zombies today consumes a lot of physical energy, which is really uncomfortable. But before they crossed the disaster road, all their supplies were received by the lady in the space ring. Even if they wanted to eat some dry food, they couldn't get it. He was lucky. Feng Wen gave him some food for the sake of comforting him before. But food and money were expensive, and Feng Wen didn't save much. Plus it was given to him for free, so he got even less. As for the rest of the people, they could only wait for Len Ning to wake up. Fortunately, the young lady finally woke up from her sleep. Looking at Sun Qi and Feng Wen, Len Ning's eyes were a little confused. Seeing that the two of them were silent, Len Ning stood up and stretched out gracefully. Feeling very hungry, Len Ning raised her wrist and looked at her watch, and found that it was already 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Boss, the Manman team saw Len Ning waking up and surrounded him one after another. Boss, how do you feel? Zhou Tao was the first to ask with concern. Boss, are you moving up the ranks? Yuan Xing asked. As soon as these words came out, everyone present looked at Len Ning. Ascending order? According to the information they know, the lady's current power level is at the peak of the 3rd level, right? Ascending order? Wouldn't that be? Yeah, Len Ning nodded with a smile. Everyone's eyes widened. Then Sun Qi didn't dare to breathe loudly. I've reached the 4th level, Len Ning replied with a smile. Boss. Congratulations. You are so awesome. Zhou Tao jumped up with joy, as if he was happier than he was at reaching the 4th level. "Boss, you are so awesome. Long live the boss." Everyone in the Manman team shouted with excitement. This is the first level 4 expert in the Thunder base. Even Mr. Lay has not been able to reach level 4. This is their boss. The most powerful existence since Thunder base. Their Manman team is so powerful. Congratulations. Sun Chi cast an admiring look at Len Ning, with a hint of envy in his eyes. The more I get along with the Manman team and the young lady, the more insignificant I feel. Recalling his previous sense of superiority, he really felt a little ashamed. Congratulations, Miss, Feng Wen also said. The first level 4 powerhouse in the Thunder base. It seems that the Yellow Monkey Hall Master is right, the young lady's future is limitless. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Ki Now. Chapter 261. Ye Len Ning smiled and nodded at the two of them. Have all the battlefields been cleared? Looking at the gate of the 4th workshop where the fiercest battle had been, Len Ning found that the zombie corpses there had been cleared away. Everything has been cleaned up. Now the workers are repairing the machinery and equipment that were damaged by zombies in the power plant, Feng Wenkong said to Len Ning. Len Ning nodded. The power zombies damaged a lot of places, I hope they can still make up for it. We transported the zombie corpses 1 kilometer away. Brother Zhou Tao and I teamed up and burned them, Sun Chi continued. Okay. Thank you for your hard work. Len Ning breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that his companion had arranged everything well. It's just Sun Chi suddenly looked at Len Ning embarrassedly. Len Ning frowned slightly. If you have something to say, just tell me. Everyone, haven't had lunch yet, Sun Chi finally said after holding it back. At the same time, his stomach rumbled. The scene was instantly awkward. Len Ning almost couldn't hold back her laughter. It's my fault, I forgot that everyone's supplies are here with me. Len Ning smacked his forehead and apologized quickly. No, it's okay. Sun Chi's old face turned red, he was embarrassed to see Len Ning and blamed himself. It was my mistake. Len Ning put down his hand. In this way, it is an apology and a celebration of our great victory. I will treat everyone to this meal. It just so happened that before setting off, she asked the new cook to prepare a large amount of meals for her overnight. Originally, these meals were only prepared for her and the Manman team, but the portions were too much for them to finish by themselves. Everyone present deserves credit for winning this battle today. It had been a hard day and she felt a little sorry that everyone was hungry. Sun Chi's eyes suddenly lit up. Miss, please. Their Wolf Fang mercenary team was invited by the lady last time. The food the lady ate was seriously. How can you be so embarrassed to ask Miss to spend money? We have military rations ourselves. Sun Chi was embarrassed. His men did bring dry food, but they didn't leave it with him. They were all taken away by the lady at that time. Sun Chi glanced at Feng Wen, feeling a little happy in his heart. Just be polite. Without the few people from the military headquarters, they can still eat more. Okay, don't be polite to me. I don't invite everyone, and it's just this once, Len Ning said directly. The reason why Feng Wen refused was because he was Huang Ho's subordinate and had been ordered to please him, so now he was embarrassed to take advantage of her. Secondly, he didn't know the standard of food here. If she really agreed to Feng Wen's plan, she would be afraid that he and his people would be angry to death when they saw them eating. And his subordinates would probably hate him as the captain. Then, I'll thank you, Miss, for everyone, Feng Wen finally agreed. Anyway, the lady is right, everyone has had a hard day, so let's have a good meal. Sun Chi pushed Feng Wen and gave him a look with a smile. You are lucky. Feng Wen. Qiangzi, you and Zheng Peng will arrange the tables and chairs, Zhou Tao, you and Yuan Xing will heat the dishes. Len Ning made arrangements for everyone in the Manman team. Yes, the Manman team took action immediately. Len Ning first took out a large number of tables, chairs, and benches from his space ring. Then, he walked to the table and began to take out the meals prepared by the cook at home. Fen Wen looked on stunned. Braised pork trotters, roasted pork ribs, braised pork, fish-flavored shredded pork, twice-cooked pork.